Hello everyone and welcome back to the Belgian Beer Brothers channel. Cedric here in Antwerp with yet another brew review, and today we're gonna talk about yet again something let's say rare, something special. We are gonna talk about a beer brewed by the Zeven Deugden, or the Seven Virtues. And if you haven't heard about this, there might be a reason for that, because this is, well, it is a real brewery, of course, but it's not a brewery per se. The Seven Virtues, or the Zeven Deugden, is a social service, a social workplace in Amsterdam. And they work with a bunch of volunteers, and they actually employ a bunch of people that are otherwise not able to get a job on the regular market. And by that I mean people who are recovering from accidents, or people with an autism spectrum disorder, or people with Down syndrome, for example. So a whole plethora of people with their own unique challenges in the workplace. So they employ these people, they give them basically a regular job, and they actually fit the person to the job, or the job to the person. So if one has a problem with time management, if one has a problem with working precisely, or even working too precisely, they actually cater to their needs, which is a very noble cause. And I do want to emphasize that they are open for visitation. They make over 20 beers. They work with old bread, for example, just like Brussels Beer Project does with the Babylon series. So yeah, I got this beer, and I want to mention that beforehand. I got this beer from my friends over at Antwerp Burlesque Academy, a dance school, a burlesque school, an event bureau, with whom I've worked for years. I don't anymore, but that doesn't matter. They are still good friends, and in their last show, I actually won one of several of these beers. So I thought, why not put it on the channel? Now, this bottle in itself, it is a very plain long neck bottle, plain bottle cap, and I like how they fitted this. They have a regular sticker label, but they actually have 2 or 3 people that really enjoy stickering these bottles, so that became their job. And their slogan is especially regular. So they do have an explanation on the bottle that this beer is brewed by some people with challenges, and people that are especially regular, and they do state that having this job for us is a normal, regular thing to do, but for these people it is in fact very special. Now, I was excited because I saw they brew a Saison, and as you guys know, I absolutely love Saisons. Hopefully it's a good one. It's called Saison. They say supple and herbal, or supple and savory would be in English. A nice thirst quencher for every season, and it is only 4.5% ABV. Another thing that I like, because you guys know that I love lower ABV beers just as well as the very high ABV beers, but these grant us the joy of having an extra one. Now, I do see a bit of rust on this bottle cap, but the inside is perfectly okay. So, and I did see a bit of and a bit of foam while opening this, so I'm actually not worried about oxidization. Very active, a lot of foam, a lot of carbon dioxide. I do see a bit of sediment on the bottom of this bottle. And it does say unfiltered, unpasteurized, with water, malted barley, malted wheat, hop and yeast. Now this does tell me that I have to visit Amsterdam pretty darn quickly because there are so many good breweries there. Just on my list is De Molen. De Mill is het A in Amsterdam. There's Gebrouwen door Vrouwen, brewed by women, which I absolutely love and I have to go visit someday. And now this one just joined the list because it's in Amsterdam as well. Okay. Nice thick and creamy foam, nice white foam, very, very classic. Pretty light, especially in the lower part of the glass. Very light, pretty clear. And when we go up to the wider part of the glass where the density gets a bit higher, it gets yellow gold instead of just plain white. So yeah, a nice yellow golden beer, be it a bit pale, but that's perfectly fine. Oh, this smells very, very classic, very typical. Of course, when we say Saison, the first name that we think about is Dupont, and as you guys know, they make one of my all-time favorites, being avec les bons voeux du brasserie Dupont. That is of course a very high ABV, dirty Saison, but this does smell like the classic Saison Dupont. So I think that they must have followed tradition, which kudos to them. Another awesome Saison is Tank 7 by Boulevard Brewery in Kansas City. Yeah, I love that too. It's a bit of a modern take, but it's one of the best around. So you must be able to get your hands on one of those. But this one, yeah, the aroma is, as the slogan says, subtle, or not that subtle, it's supple. And yeah, savory, herbal. This is one of those beers where umami springs to mind. So let's have a taste. Cheers. First off, let's talk about mouthfeel. When I see this foam, this carbonation, this color, I think a nice, well-rounded, creamy beer, let's say. But it is a bit more watery than I expected. Is that a bad thing? Well, not necessarily, but we'll get back to that later on. So this is rather thin, a bit watery. That says nothing about the flavor, nothing about the taste. This tastes absolutely radical. This is fantastic. I do get a bit more of wheat in there than I expected. So this tastes a bit like a mixture between a very classic Saison or farmhouse ale, if you will, and a bit of a wheat beer. So I do think that in their grain bill they used a lot of wheat, more than I would expect. Nonetheless, this does have that very herbal, savory, umami flavor. There we go. And nonetheless, it has that very savory, umami flavor, and it is an absolute thirst quencher. It's not bitter, but it is dry. It is very well fermented, as any Saison or farmhouse ale should be. I think I only have one or two remarks about this beer. And that is, first off, let's make it three. First off, the after flavor is very flimsy. So it is a very nice tasting beer, a lovely, actually even a bit complex flavor profile. But it does go away quite quickly. Secondly, it is rather thin, a bit watery, and I think that this flavor would come out even better if this beer was a bit thicker, a bit creamier, maybe a bit more protein, for example. So I don't know how, because they already use a lot of wheat, as we've established. Maybe add in some rye or some oats, I don't know. Or maybe brew it a bit thicker, a bit higher density, but nonetheless it is a very, very nice beer. And I have no idea what the third one was that I was gonna say. Nonetheless, I like this beer. So how should I score this? I think, given the nature of this brewery, given the flavor, given the promises that they make, which are absolutely not overshot, so very decent, I would give this a decent 3.5. And yeah, I just added it to my visit list. So when in Amsterdam, I'm gonna need a week, because I already have 4 or 5 breweries there that I want to visit. So maybe I should start planning that. Okay, that all being said, thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, leave a comment, hit that thumbs up, let me know. All my contact info is in the description. If you have any suggestions, questions, whatever, leave them down in the comments. If you want to support this channel, there is a Patreon page, again, description, or you could just share one of these videos with some friends, spread the word, and I will see you guys again in the next one. Cheers.